Hello, beautiful podcast community. It's your girl, your host, Jocelyn. Y como siempre, I am so grateful you are here. If you are a returning listener, welcome back. And if you are new here, welcome as well. If you end up enjoying this conversation you and I are about to have, I would absolutely love and appreciate if you head on over to Apple Podcasts, scroll down on the Starting with Gratitude page, find the stars and comment box waiting for you to share your rating and review on this conversation, on this podcast. Ratings and reviews are so helpful in expanding this podcast community. So for those of you who have already left a rating and a review, just know that your girl has read them and your girl appreciates you so very much. I really, really do appreciate it, y'all. So without further ado, let's get into this conversation where I am going to be expressing my gratitude for and expanding on my gratitude for rekindling my relationship with spirit. Y'all, I am so grateful to have rekindled my relationship with spirit. I will never, ever forget the moment where I thought to myself just how much I missed feeling in tune with spirit. My life at that time felt so dark, and I felt so consumed by the darkness that I felt so far from the light. It made me feel really sad thinking about how I had allowed myself to become so disconnected from the source that made me feel so alive, so divinely aligned and protected. I felt so spiritless, so unenergized, so depleted from life force and motivation. At that time, I was in a very toxic relationship. I often bring up this toxic relationship when I speak on my spiritual healing, awakening journey because it impacted and influenced me and my being so much. This relationship was emotionally, mentally, and sometimes even physically abusive. It lasted about 4 years, and I'm honestly still healing from it. What I am still healing are the wounded parts of me that I am not yet aware need healing. They have been revealing themselves as I continue to allow myself to experience life, to experience awakening. However, when I did finally break away from that toxic relationship and began my healing journey, began seeing glimpses of light again, I began to realize why I felt so disconnected, so out of tune with spirit. And the reason is because I was so disconnected, so out of tune with myself. I realized that when we are in tune with our true selves, we are in tune with spirit. For me now, my true self and spirit are one in the same. This realization brought forth so much clarity for me and also more realizations, like the truth that who we decide to be in relationship with matters. Who we surround ourselves with matters. And a great question to ask ourselves when questioning a relationship in our lives is, does this person bring me closer to my true self, or does this person distance me from my true self? Because this is also us asking if this person is bringing us further into alignment or out of alignment with spirit, with source, with consciousness. Being in relationship with the wrong person changes the trajectory of your whole life. Being in relationship with the right person changes the trajectory of your whole life too. And what is important to know is that we align to the right people when we align to spirit, to our true selves. We manifest healthy relationships by being in a healthy relationship with ourselves. Our relationship with ourselves should honestly be our top priority because all our other relationships will be a mere reflection of it. Now, I have reflected a lot on this truth because then that would mean that I manifested an unhealthy relationship because I had an unhealthy relationship with myself. That would mean that my toxic relationship was a mere reflection of my relationship with myself. And I was so against this at first because it made no sense to me. I didn't have an unhealthy or toxic relationship with myself before entering the toxic relationship I experienced. I wasn't emotionally, mentally, physically abusive with myself in any way. I didn't treat myself the way he treated me. I was in relationship with myself in a way I felt would only manifest healthy relationships. So I was confused as to why I manifested such a disrespectful partner. Now, again, I reflected on this a lot. And what it all ultimately comes down to is the truth that I ignored what my intuition was telling me about him when we first met. I ignored myself, which I therefore disrespected myself. I ignored my intuition, which I therefore disrespected spirit, source, consciousness. No, I was not in an unhealthy, toxic relationship with myself in a way that was obvious or transparent, but the unhealed parts of me, the wounded parts of me that I wasn't yet aware of, that hadn't yet revealed themselves, that allowed me to ignore my intuition and dishonor my worth, are the parts of me that manifested this relationship, are the parts of me that were reflected in this relationship. Now, I want to make it clear that it's deeper than this because if I were to simply acknowledge that those unhealed parts of me allowed me to be disrespected, allowed me to experience abuse, then that acknowledgement would lead me to feel very upset and disappointed at those unhealed parts of me. I also had to acknowledge that the unhealed and wounded parts in me are not all mine. The unhealed and wounded parts in me that had a hand in manifesting this toxic relationship are the unhealed and wounded patterns and cycles that have been passed down my lineage for generations. The unhealed and wounded parts in me that had a hand in allowing me to dishonor myself and my spirit are the unhealed and wounded parts in the people, the environment, the culture, the society, the world that raised me. The more I observed my toxic relationship, the more I saw it reflected in the people, the environment, the culture, the society, the world I was surrounded by. It would be unfair of me to make me completely responsible for what I need to heal. I am completely responsible for my healing, but I am not completely responsible for what I need to heal. And this truth gifted me grace. It allowed me to forgive me. I am honestly grateful for that toxic relationship and for my last relationship too, because they revealed the parts of me I hadn't seen and hadn't known needed to be healed. Those relationships that distanced me from my true self ultimately brought me closer to my true self and to spirit. That moment where I acknowledged how disconnected I felt, how lost I felt and how deeply I desired to reconnect, find myself, and be in tune with spirit again forever changed my relationship with myself, with spirit, and with others. When you lose yourself the way I lost myself, you never, ever want to lose yourself again. And when you find yourself, when you reawaken, you will make sure it never happens again. And if you do catch yourself slipping, you will be able to catch yourself before you fall. Now that I know that feeling, that loss, that darkness, ooh, I am so grateful for where I am and how I am now. My external circumstances may not be how I desire them to be, but as long as I have not lost myself, as long as I am in tune with spirit, I am good. Currently, I feel the most in tune with spirit than I have ever felt in my life. And saying this out loud now, after everything that I've shared with you, I'm realizing that that is a reflection of me feeling the most in tune with my true self. And it is such a beautiful, divine experience. I truly feel so divinely held and led. I will expand more on how I have been deepening and strengthening my relationship with spirit, which will therefore also be a conversation on how I have been deepening and strengthening my relationship with my true self, specifically over the past couple of years. But in this conversation, I really just wanted to share and express my gratitude for simply rekindling my relationship with spirit. I really am so grateful for it. As I mentioned, for me, my true self and spirit are one and the same. They reflect the same essence, same intelligence, same vibrancy. And I pray all of you who are listening to this feel and know when I say this, when I say that your true self and spirit are one and the same. May we align and remain in alignment with all that is divine. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for being here. I am so grateful again for each and every single one of you. Thank you for bringing me into your present moment. It truly is such an honor. And I hope that your time here was worthwhile and that you feel inspired to listen to more episodes, to keep coming back for future episodes, and to share a rating and a review on Apple Podcasts. Again, just head on over to the Starting with Gratitude page on Apple Podcasts. Scroll down, you'll find the stars and comment box waiting for you to share your rating and review. And if you feel like this conversation may be of service to a loved one, please share this conversation, spark some heart-centered conversations from it. And if you would like to watch this episode, if you would like to watch any episode from this podcast, know that it is available on YouTube. I hope to see you all, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next episode. Thank you again so much for being here. Sending you love, blessings, so much gratitude. Your girl, your host, Jocelyn.